Joining us now to discuss is Representative Fred Keller of Pennsylvania. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on today. We appreciate you taking the time. Tell us the latest about this lawsuit, if you don't mind, where things really stand in Pennsylvania and how the Trump campaign's team is set as they head to court.
Well, the things we do know, we can talk about what's been presented so far. We do know that there were election watchers that were not allowed anywhere near what was happening. They were 20 to 100 feet away when ballots were being opened and inspected. So that's one thing we know. The other thing we know is that some of these ballots may have been opened before Election Day, and some of the ballots may have been able to be fixed. In other words, if they weren't submitted properly by the mail-in, people were allowed to fix them from one party and not the other. So there's a lot of issues that are here. And to have the Secretary of State in Pennsylvania first say there was no fraud and then say there's not enough to change the outcome of the election, I think it's pretty disingenuous. She's almost saying that, well, so long as it doesn't not enough to change it, it's okay for people to do things that aren't accurate. I would say that if they were doing things properly, they would want to showcase that and have everybody's eyes on it. And for some reason, that was not allowed to happen.
Yeah, as you say, these observers, they were kept away. I think we saw some photographs of people who were using binoculars to try to watch the vote play out. And I think a lot of people who are tuning in now have this question as to how we were all watching on election night. It appeared as though the president was leading in the state of Pennsylvania, and then that lead slowly began to diminish over time. And a lot of people are confused as to how that could be the case. Do you think we'll see that sort of play out in these lawsuits presented, or is there another reason or explanation that you've been able to find that could make sense of that?
Well, the one thing I think we need to see what happens with the lawsuits, and the judges need to apply the merits of each case to the law as passed by the General Assembly, and not to rules or guidance put forth by the governor or the Secretary of State in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And that's really what needs to happen. It should be by the law, because the General Assembly has the authority to set the rules for the elections.
And we've heard that the president has appointed Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York City, to represent the president in court. What do you expect the mayor to bring to the table here? Do you think that that's an ideal situation for him to be representing President Trump in this lawsuit?
I think Mayor Giuliani is quite capable of handling these cases and putting forth the reasons why we need to take a second look at this and have the courts make sure. And I would think that the Democrats would want to make sure that everything is taken care of properly, so that we can assure things don't happen in the future. And if we do find anything, and this is where I'll say the excuse that the Secretary of State in Pennsylvania made was saying, well, it's not enough to change the outcome of an election. So now it's okay to cheat just as long as you don't think it'll affect anybody. The bottom line is we need to make sure that our elections are secure. These lawsuits need to be, the merits of these cases need to be applied to the law by the judges. And that's what we're going to see play out here in Pennsylvania. And I think, quite frankly, that if we do find these things, there should be actions taken to make sure that we know who won the election.
Yeah, clearly we're waiting for this to come out in court. Representative Fred Keller of Pennsylvania joining us live on the program. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.